Welcome back to Mr.G's EV Hangout. Tonight we got a very special pre-game. This is going to be huge. The Automotive Educators Conference is coming up in San Diego, and it's going to be for the first time focused on electric vehicles. Not every automotive educator has adopted and put into their curriculum the idea of converting a vehicle from gas to electric, but also that the OEMs have answered the call to build EVs for people. And so this will be a conference all about your options. It's not one or the other, in my opinion. It's giving you options. Right now, the coordinator of the conference is working on a gas vehicle as we speak. Greg Quirin, how you doing?
Doing great, Ron. I'm just over here at Pete's shop and here in Kearney Mesa, San Diego, and helping them with their streamliner for the 2023 race season out of Bonneville.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff going on. So
what's kind of cool is that you've done a lot of documentation of streamliners and all the racing he's done with the handmade V12s. And that's the irony, is that you're doing an electric vehicle conference. Why are you doing this, Greg? You're the Antichrist. Why would you do this?
Well, I'm in the education. I'm in education, and so is Omar. We're automotive instructors by trade. And we have a lot of, sorry, I got a barking dog. We got a lot of automotive teachers in Southern California that are having some trouble adapting to the change. And the thought of having, to implement the EV instruction into their existing curriculum. So Omar and I are trying to really host a conference to really help demystify electric vehicles and really get down to the bottom of what they're all about and how you service them and how we need to prepare our future workforce of students. So that's it, kind of in a nutshell. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I still, to me, I don't really care whether it's a gas or electric. I want to be versatile with every type of transportation system out there. A lot of the guys that Omar and I know are dinosaurs. They just know one system and that's it, and they're never going to expand. So whether it's a 1,000 horsepower race car or a 67 horsepower Toyota Prius, I'm going to learn how to fix it. So yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, this is about preparing students for the future. It's really about setting your own egos aside and realizing, this is out there. Even if we don't go 100% EV, there's a percentage of EVs in the fleet. So we want to make sure students are prepared and know about these systems so they can enter the workforce. It'd be kind of like if the school system never taught computers. They said, oh, we're only going to do typewriters for the next 50 years. So this is really awesome that you have this attitude.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
I appreciate it. And I'm in a rare case. I was just being jokey in the beginning of the session. I'm guilty as charged, EV guy, also gas guy from the beginning. I like options. And what you're seeing on the screen is a video. We converted a car back in 2008, 2009. And ironically, I learned how to convert the car from gas to electric in San Diego. And it always seems like San Diego is on the cutting edge of automotive design and automotive education. And so pretty cool thing, that it comes full circle that, we did this car back in then, and then a lot of the students ended up working in the automotive industry. And some of them now work at Tesla and also at Proterra, which is like an electric bus company. So it's really just about options. It's not so much, the carburetor versus the fuel injection, or maybe like, adding robotics to the car. It's really just options. There is no one size fits all. I mean, I drive a Ford Ranger and a Tesla. I like them both, so if you got a gasoline Harley, but you also drive a a Ford F-150 Lightning. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like having Chinese food and Italian food. Why can't we have both? I don't understand.
Well, and Ron, sorry to interrupt, but as the local San Diegan here, or one of the local San Diegans, a little bit of pride here. Even Lindbergh, his plane was built here in San Diego to cross the Atlantic. So we have a history here of, oh, you want that done? We'll figure it out.
Nice. That's awesome. So pretty cool situation. So we also have on the call Omar. He is a automotive educator. A beautiful shop. I've been there, and we're so lucky. Omar, is it going to be hosted at your shop?
Yeah, about 10 to 12 years ago, Greg and I went to a CAT conference at Maricosta College, and we just talked about how, the CAT conference, offers some stuff, but, we thought about doing it a different way. And we started, having meetings with some of the local educators. We started out with maybe a dozen teachers, and we just started kind of doing this consistently every year. And I've been hosting it at Madison, and last year we had a big focus on engines and performance. We had Pete Ardema and his team spoke as a keynote. Eddie Boriswitz spoke as a keynote with Revolt Systems. And we opened up my shop. My shop was built with the intention to hold events. We have an amphitheater in the building, seats about 100 people, and we have 2 classrooms and 8 inside service bays. So it can accommodate a lot for a high school. So it's a pretty neat facility. And, with Greg's got a lot of energy, and he has vision and passion, and I'm passionate about what we do. And we've just been kind of teaming up and trying to make this happen the last few years. And with the EV stuff, I literally just bought a Tesla in September. I was due for a car, and I was like doing the numbers, and I'm looking at all different types of cars, and I wanted something that was fast, and I wanted something that got good fuel efficiency and was dependable. And the Tesla made the most sense. Like, I shopped probably a dozen other cars, and I kept coming back to the Tesla, and I said, I'm going to just try it. And so far it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty exciting to have a really fast car that needs literally no maintenance.
Which one did you go for? It looks like you're in a Model 3. Did you get a standard range or a dual motor?
I got the Model 3 dual motor, long range with acceleration boost and full self-driving.
So that means you also probably you got the long range doesn't get the, I can't remember if it gets the federal credit, but right now, like today
my car was priced out of that program.
Okay. But even today, they just launched the refresh performance, and oh my God, we can talk about that some other time though. But yeah,
I heard about that.
Congrats!
Yeah.
Congrats!
Thank you.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, and actually, there's 3 people on the call with Teslas. We got Tom in the house. Tom, how you doing? Oh, you got to unmute it. And I'll just tell you that Tom donated a lot of the parts for a conversion that happened last summer. That was such a cool project. We converted a gas car, basically a Volkswagen bus, over to electric, and we did it in a compressed amount of time. We did it in 5 weeks, and so this is the start of it right here. And there's 2 types of conversions that people should know about. There's an engine swap, right? This is not different from being a hot rodder, doing an engine swap. But then there's also a drivetrain swap, and so that's when you change the entire, your gears, your transmission locations, engine mounts, subframe, all that stuff. But in this case, all we did was change the motor. That's it. And so what you end up with is such a great performing vehicle. Everything about the vehicle stays the same, and it's great. It drives great. It's a lot of fun. And you end up with like this great vehicle, and all these people join in. It's so much fun, So it's great having this option in education. Pretty cool stuff.
Is that an Oceanside there?
What's that?
Is that an Oceanside, that shop, or is that somewhere else?
This was the EVLC.
Yeah.
In San Marcos, right across the street from right across the parking lot from EV West.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and then we went down. This is our wiring diagram. This took a while, a lot of iterations. You know, that's the other thing. You learn a lot about planning. You know, I mean, all the hot rod stuff applies. So Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, you know, that Volkswagen transaxle is so common. I wonder how many different things over the decades that have been bolted up to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Subaru engines.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and so that's kind of Michael's roots at EV West is, you know, V-dubs, and he had his killer dual engine or dual motor bug on display this past weekend at this really cool place. Oh my God, you guys really need to know about this place called Garage Collective in San Diego.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a big thing coming up. That's pretty cool. But Tom, tonight's focus is we're talking about there's an educators conference coming up, the San Diego Automotive Educators Conference.
Right.
And we were hoping to have the bus there. Is there any hopes of getting that thing back on the road?
You know, at this point, I don't think so, because I'm going out of town tomorrow for 4 days. I'm actually going to Moab for a VW bus thing. So, yeah, I don't think so. I think we got to pull the pack out.
Yeah. And, you know,
But,
basically it's a custom car. So, you know, it's very similar to any other custom car. You're learning as you go. When he says pull the pack, he's talking about this. It's 6 Tesla modules.
Wow.
And there were some protections that were not set correctly on the computer, and the low pedal, basically low charge. Tom had to drive through it to get home, and you know, the pack needs to be nursed back to health or replaced. So yeah, so these things happen if you know, as you learn, and that's why it's so important to get students on this early, because there's a big learning curve, even though it's really just straight hot rodding, but instead of, you know, a hot rod, you now have a battery, a motor, you know. Yeah. So so speaking of hot rodding,
Ron,
Greg,
I think you need to communicate that at the conference, what you just said. You know, it's a different type of hot rodding, and let, you know, try to help people understand that you know, this is a new era.
because he's location at Peter.
Yeah, can you hear me, or was that chopping up?
No, we got it.
Okay, sorry. A lot of noise going on, and text messages and phone calls all happening at the same time, so I apologize.
So Eddie with Revolt calls it hot rodding 2.0.
Nice.
The EV stuff, you know, and it's really cool to see what he's done with the Tesla stuff and how he's taken it to a new level. I'm building my first Switch Lab car, and I'm learning a lot just building that kit. And you know, I haven't been able to finish it yet. It's assembled, but I'm having communication issues with our laptops and you know, my CAN adapters and district laptops, and trying to work the bugs out of that. But I think that what is most important is exactly what you said. We need to be comfortable being ready to, like, let the students know, hey, there's 2 more chapters in the automotive book, right? Because really everything's going to stay the same. The difference is now we have a chapter for electric powertrains and battery management systems, right? So it's like 2 more chapters in the existing books, and it really shouldn't be that scary. And the fact that it's here, especially here in California, we really need to put down our walls and be open to this new technology, because there are so many things that are better about this technology. You know, and you're right. It doesn't feel, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it doesn't sound like a V8. Well, you're right, but it goes fast like one, right? So,
Mhm.
um,
Well,
so I think,
I always say it's kind of like fighting. You, you think the loud guy's going to win or the one who takes action, you know?
right,
Making noise,
exactly.
making noise does not mean that you're going to win the race.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I drove my 86 Dodge Ram Charger yesterday, and I was like, crap, man, I got to convert this thing. Like, I had to start it up, we had to let the choke, you know, pull off, and then it had an exhaust leak, and I had to put it in gear, and the dry shaft clunked, and I'm like, man, this thing seems like a pile of crap since I've been driving the EV, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it is, there's so many benefits, you know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, with San Diego Gas and Electric, it's pretty expensive for me still, with my cost in my neighborhood for power. But I think that overall, you know, a lot of communities aren't paying the same level as we are in San Diego. It's gonna make sense for a lot of people.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, and you know, it's a lot of fun for the students to get a chance to really get a step up. I mean, if think about it, you're giving students really, it would be like training kids on digital cameras while everybody was still buying Kodak. I mean,
Right,
Kodak dominated, and then they didn't. So it's like,
right.
whoa, you know. So there are people that still teach digital for, I mean, film photography. There's an art to it. I don't think it's invalid, but you know, you gotta have options for the students. You know, pretty cool. So I was hoping that Greg would give us a rundown on what we could expect at this conference.
Well, I don't know
Sure.
if he's there, but oh, is he there? Okay, good.
Sure. So, like I said earlier, we have like about 129, I think, people have confirmed, mostly automotive educators, administrators, and we have a lot of our local automotive industry, both on the independent and dealership level. We received a lot of confirmations today from a few of the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, that are going to be bringing some electric vehicles. So we've got an E-Ray Corvette coming. We've got um, Rivian has confirmed, and we also have Tesla, actual Tesla from corporate. Um, and we have a few other OEM vehicles as well that are going to show up, a Porsche Taycan. And we're going to have several breakout sessions. So we want hands-on. We just don't want to talk to people the whole time. I know that Omar and I kind of, as Omar mentioned earlier, we kind of got this idea when we were going to CAT conferences. There would be a bunch of old men, mostly white male men, complaining about how bad the automotive industry is, and the kids today just want to be on their cell phones, and the counselor doesn't want to listen to me, and the parents tell me this and that. And so, like, every time we go, we would hear the same story. We're like, well, you know, the kids aren't going to get off their cell phones, so I don't care how much you try, they're never going to get off their cell phone. So you got to figure out how to work with them with their phone. And that's kind of Omar and I, both of our kind of mentality, and really trying to, yeah, because the auto teacher back in the day, you know, had a Chevy Nova, and that was a cool car in high school. It's not a cool car today. Kids don't see that as cool. So, you know, what do we do to, you know, and, you know, make kids enthusiastic and exciting, and you know, so they're excited. And so this conference, we're hoping to really motivate and excite instructors so that they can go back and feel a little bit more at ease. You know, kind of our theme behind this conference is demystifying electric vehicles. So we're really going to get in the nuts and bolts of this. It's not, again, we're not just going to have a bunch of slideshows. We're going out in the shop, and we're going to be one of the workshops is we have a Tesla Model S, and we're going to be doing a hands-on battery swap on that vehicle as one of the workshop presentations. We also have a presentation from Switch Lab, and we also have a presentation that's going to happen from Legacy EV with Bailey Soto and her team. They're coming out from Arizona. So again, our keynote speaker also, Scott Brown, very well versed in electric vehicles. He's a published author. He does a lot of stuff with autonomous vehicle systems and ADAS, and writes a lot of the actual textbooks that we use today for automotive and the EV. So, like I said, we've got a lot of stuff going on. and
Cool.
we're excited. A lot of supporting
So
members.
I think to run down that day, I think is in the morning. I think we're going to start around 7:30 ish. We're going to have kind of a coffee and cars kind of theme where we'll have coffee and a little breakfast, and it's a good time to kind of network and stand around and just kind of talk about your experiences. And this is a chance for you to talk about that new project you're working on, and just get to meet some people that you know, or meet new people, and everything gets set up. And then I think about 9 o'clock is when we're going to head into the auditorium, and we'll start our day. Ron's going to be our MC for the day, and and then we're going to get Scott Brown as our keynote. So we'll have some introductions. We'll roll into our keynote. Once Scott Brown's done with his keynote, we'll do a Q&A session with Scott Brown, and then from there we're going to go into some breakout sessions. For breakout sessions, we have Switch is supposed to be there doing a breakout session on their Switch Lab vehicle. We have Revolt Systems and Legacy EV are both doing workshops. And then after the breakout sessions, we're going to have a lunch session. And during the lunch, we're going to highlight some of the vehicles, some of the vehicles that we set up. I think one of the vehicles is a Corvette E-Ray, Porsche Taycan. We're trying to get a Cybertruck. I think Rivian's going to have something there. So the idea is to have some specialists from each one of those brands share a little information about those vehicles. After the lunch, we're going to break out, and we're going to have another breakout session after lunch, where I think Revolt's going to continue working on their project, and then we have a breakout session for counselors and administrators.
Yeah, that one's actually in the morning, but yeah, the counselor one.
So the other thing that Greg and I have talked about is we want to educate these counselors, because there's still a stigma, there's still a stereotype about what auto shop does, right? So we have manufacturers and companies saying, hey, we need your sharpest and brightest kids to be able to learn how to do this highly complex stuff, right? But the counselors are like, hey, here's a kid who's like struggling to get through high school. We should put them in auto shop, and they can learn how to change parts, right? So
this is
that's kind of
this is New Jersey to California, the same story.
So this is why we have really extended the invitation to counselors and administrators to try to get them in a room with Jerry Elner, and then I know that the president of ASE is going to be there, and just talk to these counselors about like what the industry really needs. And it's not people who are struggling with school. They need people who are critical thinkers, people who can solve problems, people who can do math and science and figure things out, right? So we made a special session for that group of counselors and administrators. After the afternoon breakout sessions, we're going to have a closing keynote speaker and a discussion panel. So
nice.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah. Well, let me just say that Chris Rocky Hernandez had his hand raised, and he wants to jump in. Go for it, Chris.
Well, I just got a quick question. So I'm out here in Tucson, Arizona. Sorry, I'm also having dinner before I got to run and do some other things, taking a page out of Pollock's book. So I'm over in Tucson, Arizona at the community college that's here, Pima Community College. They have what I describe as the world-class facility in advanced manufacturing. I graduated from that program in 1999, and it's like 100 times more. It's improved since then. They've got 2 new buildings. They're massive. They have a huge auto shop, a huge fabrication shop in all the trades: welding, machining, metallurgy. They have partnerships with Ford. I guess my question is, are you just focusing on high schools, or are you looking at trade schools and community colleges as well? what
We
is your
are,
focus?
yeah, thanks for that question. Yeah, we actually are including all of the community colleges in San Diego County and Southern California. You're more than welcome to attend. Our reach is kind of limited to, we are, we want to go bigger with this, but as of right now, we have a lot of our local community colleges. I think we have like 4 or 5 community colleges that will be attending. And we also have a private, kind of like a private automotive tech academy that's going to be joining as well. But we don't know yet how, and we don't know how to actually reach everyone. That's one of our biggest challenges. Omar and I have been working, like I said, for several years doing this, and we know who the players are in San Diego, but we want to go bigger. So any suggestions on how we can do that and start, bringing more people into the network? That would be our goal.
Yeah, and one of the things we found is that in San Diego County alone, we only have 25 or 26 automotive programs. That includes high schools and community colleges and special one-off programs. We learned that Los Angeles Unified School District, out of 100 high schools in 1981, had, what was the number, Greg? In 1981, they had 70.
Yeah, it was actually 1987, they had 100 high schools and they had 70 automotive programs. And now today they have 184 high schools and they serve 600,000 students and they have 9 programs. That's it. So we went from 70 to 9 and we increased 84 high schools in our second largest school district in the nation.
I mean, it seems like you guys are in the right. Sorry, Omar, go ahead.
That's the thing, so that's one of the driving forces behind doing this, is to try to grow awareness and every single skill that's taught in a high school auto shop is a transferable skill into other industries. So I think that we lose that message a lot because it's like, well, not every kid's going to be a mechanic. Well, you're right, they're not, but there are so many industries that need to understand the laws and physics of electricity, the laws and physics of hydraulics, how to use tools, how to do plumbing. I mean, there's so many transferable skills, and it's one of those classes though that doesn't really lead to a 4-year education, and that's my belief is why it has become less popular to have high school auto shops. So we're going to continue to do these conferences and continue to try and grow it. We've teamed up with a guy named John Kropp, who does big conferences in the state of California. He does a conference called the Mobilize Summit in Long Beach each year. And our goal is to continue to grow it into something that is eventually statewide, possibly nationwide. But it takes a lot of time and money. So far, we've been lucky. All the conferences we have done have been 100% volunteer with some support through sponsorships from schools like UTI and Revolt Systems and Mossy Toyota, and they've all contributed. So we've been really lucky in that aspect. Our goal is to kind of try to keep it that way as a grassroots, like volunteer effort where we're all just kind of coming together and meeting and really just sharing the technology. This year, our focus is EV. Next year we might continue the EV focus, or we might switch it up into some new technology, maybe the self-driving and automation stuff, so we're not 100% sure, but we got to get a feel for the audience and see what they need and see who we can serve, because at the end of the day, this is to serve the kids and bring more value to the classroom through this conference.
So I got 2 things for you. The first is that I'm not sure, Ron, I think you probably are familiar with all this, the CTE classes, right? The dual enrollment CTEs. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, my son is taking the engineering CTE at his school, the pathway there. But also he is interested in doing dual enrollment at the community college that I just spoke about, where he can learn about all these other things, right? Trades and robotics and welding and all these things, automotive, blah, blah, blah. So your comment, Omar, about people not seeing the value in learning some of these other topics, especially auto shop, for example. There's others too, trade schools in general.
Right.
There's actually a lot of new data showing up, and I know this because of my wife's profession. She's got a PhD in higher education. This is like her life. Um, there's a lot of data that already shows that those who are enrolled, who are in dual enrollment programs, they're statistically more likely to go to a 4-year university. It's actually there's data now pouring in to show that that's actually beneficial, like dramatically beneficial, just from dual enrollment into some of those trade programs. And when you talk more specifically about the trades, they're actually showing more interest in going into STEM and engineering and science and that kind of thing. So this is all relatively new stuff coming out.
Right.
So that might be a selling point if people are worried about the transition, right? If parents are worried about, well, my kid's just going to go and turn wrenches, like that's lame. I don't want my kid doing that. I want him to be a doctor. Well,
Right.
there's plenty of kids, including my own. He's sitting right here, who's really interested in not only turning wrenches but also being an engineer. So it's a really good pathway in general, period. Now, whether they go on to be an engineer or a mechanic or a welder is two different things. But there's a lot of, I think, marketing that you could leverage in some of this more recent data to get to churn up interest in these types of programs. And if I think what you're doing is great. I think it's a great, if nothing else, a pathfinder to see kind of how these types of things work, because I don't know of many other areas that are doing this kind of work. And as this thing progresses in Arizona, in California, you could spread out to other areas, and I'd be willing to entertain that out here in Arizona as well. My wife has massive connections out here. I was just at the car show with the dean of this advanced manufacturing facility in Pima College just 2 days ago at their car show, and he's massively interested in this kind of thing. So I applaud you guys. Great job.
Well,
and
thank you.
And I hope it goes well.
Thank you for the info too. You know, I think that with Mike Rowe Works and a lot of the other people who have been speaking up for CTE programs that are high profile people, and they're putting less emphasis on the 4-year universities. I think we're starting to see some of that data come in our favor. And it's been a long time coming. And I'm hoping that Jerry Elner gets to share some of that data when he talks to our counselors and administrators at the event. So thank you, Chris.
And Chris, we would love to have you. So if there's any way you can get out here on May 1st in 2nd, it's actually the conference is May 2nd, but you want to come out, we'd love to have you and your wife.
Yeah, May 2nd. You said, what did you say, May 2nd?
Yeah, we do have some other people coming from Arizona. We have people coming from Phoenix. May 2nd, is the conference. We're hosting a social event on May 1st, the evening before, for all of the people that are coming in to attend the conference. So that's a private event we're doing at the Auto Museum. But one of the things that Omar and I found, though, getting back to what you mentioned, Chris, is that we're 100% volunteer on this. So we have to do this, and a lot of times we have to tippy toe around our administrators and so on, and we have to figure out a really creative approach to selling this. And I don't know how much longer we'll be supported in it. I know you said that data is showing that the STEM related trades are they're increasing, but we're faced with a lot of challenges in our district alone, with visions that change every couple of years as to where what we're going to focus on and what we're not. And really what Omar and I see, and Omar, correct me if I'm wrong, but in our district, it's still really just a college for all push. Everyone's going to college. That's kind of what we're in. And then we're kind of like the redheaded stepchild that, is in the back of the auto shop behind the dumpsters and the loading dock, running an automotive program and trying to, deal with all the other ins and outs. But, one thing that we're both, proud of is that we are, again, taking the lead on this, and we're being proactive. We're being proactive to try to solve a problem. We don't know if we'll ever solve it, but we're trying to be proactive and displaying professional content and conferences and professionals in our workplace that directly translate to what our students are going to learn. So that's kind of how our approach on it. So, and it's not, we're not in competition. So that's the thing. There's nothing to hide. We're all automotive teachers, whether you're teaching automotive in New Jersey or in Texas or in Arizona. We teach the same subject, and we all need to be able to learn from each other and improve how we do things. So
yeah. Let me just jump in here. We're going to get to Tom's question in a sec. I just want to say, Chris, that you're preaching to the choir here 100%. I appreciate your support. And we know this, but I will agree with Greg, working in the district. Most of it is the AP classes and the testing, and they bragging about the top 25 students that perform well on their memorization testing and stuff like that. And then, like the STEM classes, that's a new thing happening. And all this support for skilled trades is really exciting. Even Harbor Freight Tools has a education arm, and they're donating $1.5 million spread out among 25 teachers every single year. They're doing that. The thing about it is that when I was a kid, if you went to the trade school, the county vocational, you were like the bad kid, which is crazy, because now that same exact school in the same building is now a test in only. You have to apply, you have to test in, you need a portfolio, you need to prove yourself to get into the vocational school, which is college bound vocational. In other words, you're going to learn how to make the robot that does the surgery. So you can become a doctor, but you're also learning robotics, so it's very obvious to this crowd. And this is just one more way that we help out, is by joining together and sharing ideas. That's the idea behind this conference, and giving kids options. Just a funny little story. I went to a conference about fuel injectors with my old supervisor, and man, that guy he retired from the shop class, a million years ago. And when they told him about fuel injection, he was like, he didn't want to hear it. So, yes, there are these people that are curmudgeons and they don't want to move forward. And we're lucky that, I think it's just about options. Carburetors are actually kind of fun to fix. They're still valid, but knowing the new tech and now going through this phase of automation, it's really high tech stuff. So I agree with Chris and everyone in here about how automotive is no longer just a greasy turning wrenches. It's pretty high tech now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to get to Tom, but right after that, I want to go to Mark Weller's on the line. He is a automotive instructor at Barstow, and he's like my counterpart out there. He not counter, but he's my California teacher. Basically, he did a similar thing to me on his own. Before the learning curve happened, he switched over to do electric conversions as part of his curriculum before he was told to do it. And, so that's great. And that's like this conference. No one's telling Greg and Omar to put on an electric car conference, but they see the tsunami coming and they want to give their kids an edge. So let's go to Tom and let's go to Mark. Go ahead, Tom. What do you got?
Yeah, I just want to say hi, Mark, and Greg and Omar. I'm surprised I haven't had the pleasure to meet you guys in person, but we're really happy to see that the EV Learning Center is on board with you guys for this, as well as the Automotive Museum, which I've been a member for many years. My club has been a member of the Car Club Council, and we have our meetings regularly at the Automotive Museum. So you've got the kernel of what you need to do outreach here in the San Diego area. I'll be seeing you. The night, the May 1st, May Day, the get together.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Nice. And Mark, how you doing?
Thank you, Tom.
Doing good. So I'm just seeing I have a low battery, and I'm not sure why that is occurring. But so we're just coming to you from California here. Good to see you again. So I'm at EV West right now. So I got Michael in the background there. And so we're excited to come to San Diego to show the EV trainer cart and all of the hard work there. And yeah, I missed the first part of the call, but I've been at the meetings here before.
So Mark, Greg, is it okay if I reach out to you tomorrow regarding you're going to bring the EV cart, you said? Because we're
Yes.
looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a valuable asset to have at this conference. So
Yeah.
So I just want to know
absolutely,
what your needs are in physical space area, and we'll get you all set up. But we definitely would love to have that as an interactive display. It's a very good visual for learning. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, so pretty much we usually like just a 10 by 10 space is usually adequate.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this is an appropriate place to ask in front of all this audience, but do you guys have access to one of your really like one of your conversion vehicles that could make an appearance as well, or is that a stretch?
I'm not sure if we will be bringing other vehicles. Yeah, I'm not sure the status of that, but
Okay.
I'll put that as a possibility. So I think you just put the message out to the owner of EV West. So,
yeah, bring the Streamliner. No,
Yeah.
that would be cool. You don't have the Hoger High car, right? You don't have that available, do you?
Which one? What is it? The Hoger Hide?
Yeah, the Streamliner. No, that's cool. I'm joking.
Oh,
yeah, we have Electroliner, the Lakester.
Oh, the Electroliner. That's right.
We have the Lakester, but not the Streamliner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bring the bug.
But anyway, that I just wanted to make, what we're really trying to do is I just learned from Tom, right? I think it was Tom saying that we're not going to have the EV bus isn't coming, but we would love to we want to have a display too of converted vehicles, because that's a hot topic. We do have a lot of OEMs who are committing. So we have, we'll have like an E-Ray, the Porsche Taycan, and Tesla's bringing, vehicle, we'll have Rivian and so on. But one of the presentations, I don't know if you're familiar with Legacy EV out of Arizona and Bailey. They're going to be a presenter presenting some of their EV curriculum and so on. But like I said, we're very fortunate to have you, because I know you guys are, early pioneers with electric vehicles here in San Diego. So we're really fortunate to have EV West in attendance. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Nice.
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Hey, guys,
We're excited to be
sorry. I got to slip out, guys. Nice seeing y'all.
there. Okay.
See you guys in May.
All right. Sounds good. Awesome. Yeah. So like rising tide lifts all boats, and it's really going to be a lot of different people there. I think this is, man, I remember my first EV conference back in 2008 in San Diego. I was overwhelmed. They brought in battery specialists. They brought in physicists. They brought in electro engineers. It was really incredible. And I will tell you, the people that you're going to talk to, the educators, you are really going to inspire them. And I think you're going to change the lives of every student they meet. So think about it. Each educator probably represents about 100 kids. So just imagine if you got 100 educators there, what is that, like 1,000 kids you're going to, educate? And it's pretty amazing. So
10,000 kids.
10,000. There we go. So Michael's being funny. So,
And
basically,
Ron,
yeah.
And Ron, I want to thank you again too, because you're instrumental in the success of this conference as the event moderator. And just for all the attendees listening tonight, I reached out to Ron and said, Ron, I need your energy at this conference. We don't need the guy. We don't need Ferris Bueller guy. The Bueller guy, Bueller, whatever. We need somebody who has a lot of energy, who can relate and tell that story. That it's a different kind of hot rodding. It's a different kind of student. It's, we're going to have Chinese and Italian food at the same place, and that's kind of where we're at. And so I think, with Ron's energy and knowledge and passion, it's a perfect recipe for a successful conference. So we're going to have a lot of energy. So thank you, Ron, for stepping up and going out of your way to come do this for us, because this is going to be successful. And I think we are on, as Chris said earlier, I think we are on to something bigger and better. And this is where it kind of starts. It's a grassroots movement. And, we're not getting paid for this or anything like that. It's just, we're doing it for the love and the passion. And we want to be able to help others learn. And that's kind of what we're all about. So
Awesome. Yeah, my pleasure. I'm honored to be a part of it. If I can help with the conversation, this would be really cool. I mean, I got to tell you, there's a lot of my students that benefited from me showing some of the electric vehicle stuff and all of the. It's kind of like a great like a wave, you know, and all the people I've met over the years. It's been an amazing journey. So I've been really lucky about this whole thing. I just love it. So if I can spread some of that excitement, it's pretty amazing to me. You know, we get to learn something. So yeah, I'm glad to be there. So let's do this, man. All right. So
Ron,
I think that's a pretty good wrap up right there.
Sure. And Ron, if you want one more time, I'll just show. I know I've been distracted the whole time, but I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is a 1,000 horsepower race car that we're getting ready for the Bonneville season and the race season here. So this is and as Mark mentioned earlier, the EV West has the Electroliner, which is an electric lakester. This is a it's kind of hard to see it with the phone, but this was a lakester, but now it is a streamliner, and we've got to go 300 miles an hour this season.
That's
so
amazing.
This is a homemade V12 engine. This is not a production engine. This gentleman that engineered this is Pete Ardema and Kevin Brown. Pete Ardema is 83 years old. He's in the shop every day, 7 days a week, and he builds 1,000 horsepower V12 engines from scratch. The architecture does not exist. He architects the whole entire thing. He built from scratch. It doesn't come out of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. It's his own thing. And you can see our new nose piece here for the car.
Hold the phone horizontal if you can.
You want to hold it? Okay, will that work horizontally?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the new nose piece for the front end of the car. So the front wheels will be tucked in underneath it. I don't know if you can see, this is all made out of aluminum.
Wow, it's beautiful.
So this car, again, I'll show you horizontally, went from it's going to be a streamliner, which means the wheels are completely housed within inside of the cowling of the vehicle. So you can see all the intricate parts of the front end and how narrow the front end is. So anyway, that's what I've been distracted on working. They're working on a crunch time. They got to get this to the dyno this week and lay down some numbers, and then we have to go out for testing next week, and then it'll be at the racetrack out at El Mirage here at the first event in May. And I think we got to go like 256 at that particular event to set a record. So
amazing. So inspiring. And it's like, we're talking about EVs. This is so cool. I don't care whether it's 1,000 horsepower Tesla motor or 1,000 horsepower handmade V12. I want to be a part of it, man. Sign me up.
Yeah, and this is another engine Pete is building right now. Kind of hard to see it. It's kind of sideways, but this is going to be a 1,300 horsepower V8 that he's building. And he made and machined all the heads himself. This is all made himself. He's making his own cam boxes where the camshafts will go. But we've seen the same level of engineering and ingenuity, both at like EV West and Revolt Systems. They both have electric race cars, which is starting up a whole new division of racing out at Land Speed Trials. So, which the guys in the Land Speed world are trying to figure out how do you classify and regulate an EV vehicle. So, Mark, you probably know about some of that and how they're trying to create weight classes, but now they're looking. It's got to go. Now they're trying to have all these different classes of electric vehicles, but it's pretty interesting stuff. So again, I'll stop talking about the electric car and get back to your session here. I mean, the gas car.
No, it's all good. That was the perfect ending. We're doing a short recording tonight. We just want to talk about the conference, get people excited, give some details, and that's exactly what we did. So hopefully this is a good, nice shareable video and get people excited. I'm send it to some educators out in California or in the area that are welcome to come. And don't forget the night before at the I think a special event for special invites at the Automotive Museum. The
Automotive Museum. And if we can get anyone else wants to join us, we'd love to have you. So Chris, you want to take a sick day? We'd love to have you out in San Diego. Sarah, come on. Joshua Tree is close by. You need to get in. You need a little more humidity in your day. Come on over to San Diego for a moment.
There you go. And also we have Talik there. Talik is has been a co-host of this session for a while, and also covers a lot of the latest trends in EV. Talik, you think you're going to make it?
Yeah, I just if you want to find me, I'll look like this.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's perfect. Yeah, we want that. So.
Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. So we're going to end it here, and we can hang out for a bit, but I'm just going to end the recording, and we can discuss some more details. Thanks for everybody being here.